Hello, my name is Red Alexander Hamilton, and I'm an artist from Houston, Texas, and I'm really happy that you're here. On March 9th, 2025, I applied for a senior design manager position at Apple. Currently, I am an operations manager at Hertz, and even though I love my position and incredibly grateful for where I'm at in life, I've always believed to shoot for the stars and reach for the moon. This video will serve as an addendum to my application, a cover letter, as you will. Here is my resume, and here is a letter of recommendation from my previous boss. I believe to be a phenomenal fit for this position with the many years of experience I have as a manager with varied level of employee sizes and responsibilities. In addition, I have an extensive knowledge of color theory, technical know-how, and drive to create the most important and effective works of designs that I can, ranging from interior design, landscape lighting, and works of art.
Okay, so I want to show you something. So I bought this computer on Facebook Marketplace. In the listing, it said that it was hacked, and there's an activation lock that you can't get into it. I said, that's no problem. I get like computers, right? It probably just needs a factory reset. Maybe a little bit more challenging recovery things, but just to start this off with, I did purchase this computer. This was something that I've spent my hard-earned money on. This is the original receipt from the person that bought this at the Apple store on January 4th, 2022. This is their original receipt. Someone was selling this. The original person that sold this actually sold it before me, before I got to it. I messaged her. I was like, is this still available? She said, yes, it is available, but someone's coming at 1:30 to come and pick this computer, to look at it. If they don't like it, then I will sell it to you. And then after like 1:30, the listing was stated as sold. So 2 days later, I went back on Facebook Marketplace, and I had another computer that was activation locked out. And I was like, okay, and it was a pretty good deal. I talked them down, and then I ended up meeting with them and buying this computer. And they had the original receipt too. And it hit me while I was driving about 20 minutes after purchasing this thing that the name, I put a piece of tape on it, but this name that was written on this receipt sounded familiar, and then it hit me. This was the original computer from 2 days ago. So I bought this from the people that bought it at 1:30. Got it home, I started doing like just troubleshooting it. I have an external flash drive that I turned into a startup disk with Mac Sonoma, and I have a little thing so it could fit in the Thunderbolt connector. Did not work. So that was my first mistake, was I forgot that Apple was a multi-billion-dollar tech company. So they have figured out the correct way to activation lock their thing. So if someone actually does steal their computer, then it's bricked. But here's the thing. Do you see this right here? It says this Mac is linked to an Apple ID. Enter the Apple ID and password that was previously used with this Mac. It has at a.net. It kind of hit me that people so I did everything. I put in my iCloud. If you look at this, it'll automatically say like this Mac is linked to a different Apple ID, right? No, obviously. So I'm looking at this thing, and so I just type in Apple at apple.net. Just how how older people, they'll make their password password. And then so I just put in Apple as the password. And look what this says now. Your Apple ID has been locked for security reasons. To unlock it, you must verify your identity. Was that the hacked was that the hacked ID? Like, this is a legitimate question, because if I put in my Apple ID, it says no, this one isn't connected, but it puts this whole other page to unlock my account. Apple@apple.net doesn't exist. I reached out to Apple. I gave them proof that I have the receipt, all that stuff. I bought it from them. I showed them my receipt, and they still said that they couldn't fix the activation lock. Talked to customer service, and they were like, yeah, this computer is just bricked. So I called Houston, like, Mac repair stores in my area, and they said, you're going to have to put in a whole new logic board on the computer. It's just, there's no fix for this. So I bought a logic board. So that's what this part of this video is. I have my little Mac display opener. I have my gloves, my tech tools. I have the re-adhesive strips, and I'm going to cut into this computer. I'm going to Frankenstein a new logic board into it, and I'm going to get this because I refuse to have this gorgeous paperweight at my house. I watched a lot of really great tutorials that iFixit has. They have a whole teardown video that's wonderful about these machines. So I have a pretty good understanding of what to do. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm pretty stoked about it.
And so we've finally made it to the teardown of this, so I can do the logic board replacement. You have to start off basically just pizza slicing the display off, so you can get to all the little goodies on the inside. And I have to admit, the inside of this machine is phenomenal. It's so beautiful. It's like, I can't like, you're about to see it in a second. The most nerve-wracking thing was dealing with this display. I didn't want to mess anything, and but there it is right there. But once I got this display onto a carpeted surface, I put it inside of my closet in my room, so my dog couldn't get around it. And then after that, it was basically just like playing with adult Legos. It was just unscrewing things. You'll see the little shot glass on the side. I put all the little screws in there. These are T3 screws. There's 4 screws under this tape. And it was just a really it was kind of relaxing. I mean, it was nerve-wracking, of course, because this is me going in deep. This is a first time repair, like this intensive repair for me. But what a phenomenal look at this logic board. How have we made it to this point? How have we made all of this from rocks? And this is me tearing down the stand. Man, it's just a phenomenal thing. You're about to see this in a second, but I'm gonna try to it's just a good story. This whole computer has just been a phenomenal story. But when you replace a logic board, or the one that I had, there was no operating system on it. So you're about to see it in a second, but once I put the screen back on, you'll see an exclamation point with a circle around it, and that indicates that there's no firmware or operating system that runs on it. It's a very rare instance, but it does happen. Like, let's say you're updating your computer and your power goes off. Like, it's that kind of likelihood. So the way that you have to do that is or the way to fix that is that you have to have pretty much a running MacBook or iMac with a operating system running Sonoma or higher, and just push that software onto this computer. I don't have that. So at first it was very scary for me. I was like, oh my God, I did all this work and I still don't have a working computer. But I contacted Apple and they said, oh, okay, just come into one of our stores and software repair is free. So
I brought it in to the Apple Willowbrook store, and a gentleman named Jonathan was there. And so if this video actually does get some kind of hype, I just cannot say enough about Jonathan at Genius Bar. At the Genius Bar at Willowbrook, he said that he's been there since 2015, so he's got a 10-year rank working with this company. He was just a really cool guy. Like, he didn't stress me out at all. He when I told him that I switched out the logic board, he was actually impressed with me. He didn't. I felt like that was such blasphemous to cut open into their precious display, but he was just so I had a 1 p.m. drop off, and he was like, "Get out of here," and he's like, "Go eat," and he was like, "It'll probably be ready by tomorrow." And he called me 30 minutes later, and he said, "Your computer's ready to pick up." And I said, "That's amazing, right? What? Like, that's fantastic." And he was like, "It's gonna work like a brand new computer. Like, it's the first time it comes on." And he said, "You did all the repair." He's like, "All I did was just click a couple buttons." And he was telling me how impressed he was that I got this far. And he said, "The fact that you got the exclamation point with the circle around it," he was like, that's really impressive." And I just can't say enough about him. Like, that was really fantastic. And so it does work, and I'm about to show you right now. All right, here we go. That's a good sound. That's a good look. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah! Right, Atlas. Right.